this video, I'll be making a Cheongsam style dress. Essentially, a cheongsam is where a fitted body is split into two by a curve with a mandarin collar, short curved sleeves and a slit. Because I measured myself, I couldn't get an accurate measurement and had to redo it a few times. In the first version, there was way too much fabric. The second version fits better, but I had trouble with the sleeves. It was hard to lift my arms without pulling the whole dress up. In the third version, I raised the armhole and added fabric to the sleeves to create more movement. Once the bodice was right, I extended the dress and worked on the collar and sleeves too. I learned this technique for tracing dots. Use a headless pin and pin it in place. Lift the paper up through the pin and draw lines to connect the dot points. Push the needle all the way in, turn it over, and do the same on the other side. Overall, it looks good until I set and all the side clips came out. Don't worry, I'm wearing tights underneath. Roughly measure how much I need to cover my thighs and made revision to the pattern. Once I'm satisfied with the fitting, I trace the front bodice to add a curved line. I prepare the full top first. After that, I switched out the pattern, lifted a single layer to cut the curve out. I made a mistake here. There is no need to include seam allowance to the curved part. I will only need it for the collar. For the smaller left piece, I added 2 inches of seam allowance. How to sew bias binding. I'll be using the sleeves to demonstrate. Open the tape, pin it to the right side of the fabric, and leave a little extra at both ends. Sew along the top of the line. Fold the ends and stitch along the line for a clean finish. Snip off about 1 to 2/8 of an inch. Then fold over and iron. Position the needle at the edge of the footer, right next to the tape, and sew. This is how it should look like from the front, and the back will be perfect too. And now I'm going to assemble all the parts together. Moving on to the collar. I apply an additional layer of fusible interface. At the back, I sew in the invisible zipper and attach the collar. Mistake again. I'm supposed to add bias tape on the collar and curve before sewing the sides. I have to open up the stitches and start binding from the collar onwards and down the curve. another mistake here. When you forgot to make changes to your pattern, I just slice the sleeve off and redo the bias binding. So I attach the sleeve and finish the bottom using the same binding method. With two straps, I made a ribbon to use as a button and hand stitch onto the dress. It looks a little weird. I will probably switch it to a proper Cheongsam button when I can find one in a similar color as the fabric. With the leftover fabric, I sew a matching scrunchie too, and we are done! Thanks for watching, subscribe and bye!